the New England Revolution.
Okay, fair.
So New England is currently sitting at 5 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Second place in the Eastern Conference. Can you believe that? In my opinion, their top player, as it, as it has been for a few seasons now, Carl's heel. Do you have anybody different?
I tried to pick ones that are like a little bit less obvious for some of them because I
Yeah,
had a feeling you'd go with them. So I went with Petrovic in goal. I think he's been very, very solid and is one of the reasons that they are where they are.
can't say I disagree with that one, considering they've only conceded 6 this season. Um, how about most impressive player for you?
I have a split here. I'm hoping you have the other one. This may be a little bit of MLS fantasy bias because he just absolutely brought me to the moon this week. But Dylan Barrero has been very, very good for me. I think we expected a lot out of him in the first season he was here, and he kind of had that period where he needed to adjust. But since then, he's come back and been very, very strong for New England.
That's disappointing because now we're going to definitely leave off somebody who deserves to also be mentioned in this spot. But my choice for most impressive, Bobby Wood.
What?
Yeah, Bobby Wood has 2 goals and 2 assists this season in less minutes played than Dylan Barrero. He has been when he got signed at the start of the season. I remember both of us talking about this. This is another Josie signing. Like he's going to come in experience. He's not going to play much. He's not going to do really anything for them. We were like, why is Bruce bringing him in? Like he never really hit the ground running at all at RSL. And he's been so good for them. He's their joint leading scorer. He's got the most goals and assists on the entire team. He's been he's been playing way better than we expected him to play. I think he's absolutely been one of their most impressive players this season.
You know what? That's a great defense. I'll give that to you. We'll go honorable mention for Noel Buck. I know that's who you were referring to. The 18-year-old has 1 goal and 1 yellow card in about 500 minutes. Definitely stepping into his own, one to watch for the future, and has done well. So,
Yeah, 18 years old, playing nearly 500 minutes already for the second place team in the East. I'd say that's pretty impressive. But guess who's not been impressive? For me, and this is probably a bit harsh considering it's a second place team. All right, you're going to probably be stretching on figuring out who's been least impressive. But I have gone with Giacomo Vrioni, just considering the fact that I thought he was the guy they brought in to be the Buxa replacement. Has just not really hit the ground running. Can't really seem to get into a starting role. I mean, he's being beat out by Bobby Wood right now. He's got 1 goal so far in 172 minutes and only 1 start at the moment. So it's been a slow transition for him into MLS, but I just feel like at least my expectations for him were a bit higher.
I mean, let's be real. How are we going to expect anybody to break through Bruce Arena's team over Bobby Wood? That'd be like asking somebody to break in over Josie Altidore in Bruce Arena's team or Mike McGee out of retirement in Bruce Arena's team. I also had Giacomo Veroni there for the same reason we talked a lot about in the beginning of the year, him being one to watch, a guy that we thought we were going to break out. And through 6, 7 games this year, he has just been nah. Has
Yeah.
a goal in just under 200 minutes, which is nice to see. But I think for what they paid for him, I think it's something you want to keep their eye on.
Yep. Glad we're on the same page. Now, in regard to overachieving, underachieving, for me, for me, I think New England has been just right. I think this team looks pretty good on paper. I think even if they can get Giacomo Vrioni to start kind of hitting his stride, I mean, this team looks great. I think they've been good at the back line. Dave Romney's been a fantastic addition. They look great in the midfield. Obviously, they still have their superstar on Carl's heel. And they still have Gustavo Bo, too. Don't forget about Gustavo Bo. I think this team is absolutely going to be contending at the top of the East this year. I don't know if they have what it takes to top the East, but I think they're just right with how they're achieving so far.
I look at the way that we predicted them to be last, at the beginning of the year, they're overachieving for what we thought they would be, right? Um, I think if you saw them, if the foot comes off the gas, I don't think anybody's like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. How did that happen? I don't think it's a shock to anybody. So, um, I have them at overachieving.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I think looking back at it, maybe I'd say slightly overachieving, but I still think this team is probably good enough to make the playoffs. All right. So my
Easy.
question for you: can the attackers continue this level of production for the entire season? Attackers including Barrero, Bobby Wood. Um, if you want to throw Giacomo Vrioni in there, just anybody in the attack, really.
They're sitting 12 goals in 7 games. That's almost 2 a game. I think it's a little high. Overall, sure, but I think you're going to have your dips and your valleys. But overall, I think that they can keep, Carlos Hill fully fit, Gustavo Bo having rotational minutes with Bobby Wood. If at that, I think what's he got? He's at 415 through 5 appearances so far. 4 times 90 or 5 times 90, 450. So he's had 40 minutes of bench time. So he's played full 90 most of them. But the fact that you'll have somebody to give him relief when he needs it is important. I think Dylan Barrera is still on pace to break out this year. And then of course you've got Vrioni to come back. So it wouldn't shock me if they did.
Yeah, I think they honestly they have a lot of attacking power here. I mean, Barrero, like if Wood keeps up production and is a effective guy, even if he ends up getting moved to the bench for Bo and Barrero, I still think if he continues the production, that's great to have off the bench. And then obviously we've seen what Gustavo Bo can bring to the table. And if they can get Vrioni hitting, then it makes them even more dangerous in the attack. And I mean, who else would you want behind them pulling the strings than the guy that's one of the best playmakers in the entire league? So I think this attack is legit for this season. I'll be honest. I think it's legit.
I agree.